Hello friends, welcome to my channel Angrezi Sahitya. Today, we are going to explore a wonderful and very famous play called Pygmalion, written by George Bernard Shaw. Friends, the play was first performed in 1913 and it is still loved around the world today. This is a story about change, dreams, and respect. It shows us how a simple flower girl named Eliza Doolittle dares to imagine a better life for herself. It also shows us how people like Professor Higgins and Colonel Pickering try to change her, but in the end, Elijah finds her own strength and identity. So, why is it called Pygmalion? Friends, the name comes from an old Greek myth about a man who made a beautiful statue and fell in love with it. In the same way, Higgins tries to create a new version of Elijah, but unlike the statue, Elijah is alive, strong, and full of her own dreams. This play is not just about learning to speak well, it is about becoming confident, standing up for yourself, and choosing your own path in life. As we go through this story together, let's think about how important it is to respect every person, not just for how they talk or look, but for who they are inside. So, let's dive into Pygmalion. Now, let's meet the important characters of Pygmalion. Each one plays a special role in Elijah's journey. First, we have Professor Henry Higgins. He is a language expert. He teaches people how to speak proper English and believes that with the right training, anyone can sound like a high class person. Next is our protagonist, Eliza Doolittle. She is a poor flower seller who speaks in a rough and simple way, but she has a big dream. She wants a better life and is ready to work hard for it. Then we meet Colonel Pickering. He is a kind and polite man who also studies languages. He supports Higgins in teaching Elijah, but more importantly, he treats Elijah with great respect. We also meet Alfred Doolittle, Elijah's father. He is a funny and clever man who loves talking about life, money, and how to avoid responsibilities. Even though he is not very responsible, he adds a lot of humor to the story. And finally, there is Miss Higgins, Professor Higgins' mother. She is smart, wise, and often advises her son to behave better, especially towards Elijah. Friends, all these characters together make the story rich, funny, and full of important lessons about respect, dreams, and becoming your true self. Now, let's begin our story with Act First of the play Pygmalion. I'll keep it very simple and easy. Friends, the story begins on a rainy night in London. It's dark, wet, and everyone is trying to find shelter. In the middle of this, we meet Eliza Doolittle, a poor girl who sells flowers on the street to earn a living. She's standing near a church, hoping to sell some flowers and make a little money. At the same time, we meet Professor Henry Higgins. Friends, he's an expert in phonetics, which simply means he studies how people speak. Higgins is standing nearby and carefully listening to how people talk. Another gentleman, Colonel Pickering, is also there. And guess what? He's also interested in languages. The two men start talking and quickly become friends because they love studying different ways people speak. Now, Elijah notices that Higgins is writing something while she talks. She gets very scared and thinks he might be a policeman who wants to catch her for doing something wrong. But Higgins laughs and explains that he isn't a policeman. Instead, he tells her that just by listening to her voice, he can tell exactly where she comes from. Isn't that amazing? Friends, Elijah feels a little embarrassed. She dreams of speaking better English so that she can work in a real flower shop, not just sell on the streets. She wishes for a better life. During all this, another family appears. Miss Ansford Hill, her daughter Clara, and her son Freddie. They are from the upper class, but they are having money troubles. Freddie goes off to find a taxi for them, but it's not easy on a rainy night. At the end of the scene, Higgins shows off. He proudly says that if he wanted to, he could teach Eliza how to speak like a high class lady in just 6 months. This little moment sets up the whole story that follows. Let's move on to Act 2 now. The next day, Elijah decides to be brave. She goes to Professor Higgins' house to ask for English lessons. She wants to speak properly so she can get a better job in a flower shop. Imagine how nervous she must have been going into the big house of an important man like Higgins. At first, Higgins makes fun of her. He laughs at her way of talking and is not very polite. But Colonel Pickering, who is also there, treats Elijah with kindness and respect. Then something interesting happens. Pickering and Higgins make a bet. Higgins says he can teach Elijah to speak like a duchess, a very high class lady, in just 6 months. If he succeeds, Pickering will pay all the cost. Elijah agrees to stay and take lessons. She is ready to work hard for a better future. Miss Pierce, the housekeeper, helps prepare Elijah and warns Higgins that he must be more careful and kind, not just treat Elijah like an experiment. Meanwhile, guess who shows up? Alfred Doolittle, Elijah's father. He has not come to take Elijah home. No, he only wants some money. Higgins given him a few pounds and laughs at how clever Doolittle is in getting what he wants without feeling guilty. And with that, Elijah's long and difficult journey to become a lady begins. Alright, friends, now let's see what happens in Act 3. After months of hard training, it's time for Elijah's first big test. She's taken to Miss Higgins' house, that's Professor Higgins' mother. Miss Higgins is hosting a small party, and some important guests are coming like Miss Ensford Hill, her daughter Clara, and her son Freddie. When Elijah enters, she looks beautiful and acts like a lady. But when she talks, even though her accent is now polished, the things she says are still strange and funny. For example, she talks about how her aunt was supposedly murdered over a hat, shocking the proper guests. But guess what? Even with her funny stories, everyone believes Elijah must be from a very good family. Fred is especially impressed. He falls a little in love with her. After the guests leave, Miss Higgins scolds her son. She warns him that he is thinking only about the experiment and not about Elijah's feeling on her future. But Higgins and Pickering are very happy. They feel sure they will win the bet. Now, the real final test is coming, the grand party. Now, friends, here is what happens in Act 4. The grand party is over. Higgins and Pickering come home feeling very proud. They keep talking about how successful they were in making Elijah pass a real lady. But there is a big problem. They don't even thank Elijah for her hard work. Friends, Elijah feels very hurt. She realizes they only see her as a project, not a real person. She feels lost because she doesn't know what will happen to her now. She has changed so much that she doesn't fit back into her old poor life. But she is also not truly accepted by rich society. Elijah gets angry and throws Higgins' slippers at him. They have a big argument. Elijah says she might marry Freddie, who actually loves her, or work in a flower shop. Higgins, being stubborn, still treats her like a child and cannot understand why she is upset. This fight shows that Eliza is no longer the shy flower girl. She is now a strong and confident woman who knows her worth. Finally, friends, let's talk about Act 5, the last part of the play. The next day, Elijah Higgins and Pickering meet again at Miss Higgins' house. Surprise! Alfred Doolittle, Elijah's father, also arrives. He has become rich because someone left him a lot of money. But he's not happy about it. Being rich means people expect him to behave properly and he misses his old free life. Meanwhile, Elijah shows that she has truly changed. She speaks with calm and dignity. She tells Higgins she will not live with him unless he treats her with respect. She plans to marry Freddie and open a flower shop together. Higgins is shocked, but secretly proud of her strength. He still believes Eliza will come back to him. But Eliza proves she can make her own decisions now. The play ends not with a wedding, but with a strong message. Eliza has won her freedom and her identity. It's a happy ending, not because of romance, but because she has become her own person. Always remember, friends, we all have the power to change, to grow, and to become the best version of ourselves. Like Elijah, believe in yourself, work hard, and never let anyone tell you that you are not good enough. Like Elijah, remember your voice, your dreams, and your courage can change your world. Thank you for being such wonderful listeners. Let's carry Elijah's courage and spirit with us in our own lives. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.